11 and 12. And we had a couple of takeaways from our family this week. Nothing big, nothing grand. Proverbs. The word proverb, it means a short saying, a short pithy saying, a little tangible little piece of wisdom that you can put in your pocket and think about and chew on as the day goes on. And so my challenge with my boys for this week was like, hey, pick out one or two of the ones that you read every other day or so, and think about that through the day. Try to pick out one that sticks out to you. And for my middle son, it was in chapter 10. It talks about harvesting. It says, a wise youth harvests in the summer, but one who sleeps during harvest is a disgrace. And so for my youngest son, the question that he came back with to ask himself over the next few days at the time was, what is it that right now that I'm supposed to be harvesting? What is going on in my life where I'm supposed to be on the lookout for what I'm supposed to be harvesting? And that was a wonderful question and application to take from here for him in his life to seek wisdom. For my other son, it was about obeying parents and being an obedient son. And that was in chapter 12. And what does that look like to be willing to be obedient? And there was an interesting discussion this week because as my son was discussing one of the chapters, the beginning part of the chapter, it talks about work and it talks about idle hands and laziness. And then just a few verses later, it talks about that actually a worker that goes and bothers his boss is annoying to him. And so my son was like, what are you supposed to do with kind of these contrasting views? And part of what Proverbs is wonderful about is it forces you to hold more than one truth at a time. What is the nuance? How do both of these truthfully play out in my life? And that takes a little bit of pause. We can't just be speed reading through it as fast as we can. Sometimes we have to pause and reflect and wait. And so I hope that you guys are finding that time to be able to pause and meditate on a proverb. You don't have to memorize the whole chapter. Try to pick out one or two verses in there that kind of speak to you about maybe something that you're going through or a circumstance that you're observing. And then pray about that and meditate on that for a few days. Keep it in the back of your mind. Usually there are only one or two verses, one or two stanzas. It's good to put that inside of our minds and be meditating on the wisdom of God throughout our week. So love you guys. Hope that you guys have a good week.